Welcome to Unwritten, Stories from Snuggly.Cloud, where each tale unfolds with every choice. Settle in and let the narrative guide you. You arrive at the SCP Containment Lab. Monitors flicker as alarms signal minor containment instabilities. The AI supervisor issues your first task for the day.
Begin experiments on SCP redacted with extreme caution.
The heavy blast doors grind open, revealing SCP redacted's containment chamber, a dimly lit space stained with the echoes of past chaos. Thick plexiglass walls, fractured and smeared with iridescent fluid, barely hold back the unnatural presence within. The creature itself resembles a grotesque tangle of sinew and glass shards, pulsating with a sickly luminescence that seeps through its translucent flesh. Its limbs twist unnaturally, bending in ways no human joint should, while dozens of eyeless orifices at its surface, exuding a faint corrosive mist. Your glove sticks slightly as you approach the containment window, the subtle hum of the chamber's life support systems interrupted by faint wet slithers, muscle and tissue shifting beneath the surface like some horrific living biomechanical engine. Time is precious. One wrong move could shatter thin protocol lines and unleash utter hell. You set up the interface console to begin a series of neural stimulation tests, delicate pulses aimed at decoding the creature's fragmented synapses. The AI warns you of sensory feedback loops that may cause temporal distortions or induce spontaneous mutations through psychic shockwaves. Your hands tremble slightly as you prepare the electrodes. The glass pulsates more rapidly now.
Initiate low-level neural stimulus sequence cautiously.
You clamp the electrodes in place with trembling fingers, synchronizing the pulse generator to emit the faintest neuroelectrical signals. The chamber's eerie glow flickers in time with the beat of your heart, the creature responding with subtle ripples across its gelatinous form. Suddenly, a deep, guttural resonance reverberates through the plexiglass, a soundless vibration that seems to seep into your bones. The creature's musculature distorts grotesquely. Long, spindly tendrils snake out, pressing against the containment glass like desperate fingers seeking purchase. You notice tiny crystalline growths erupting from its skin-sharp shards that glisten with a poisonous sheen. The AI's voice crackles urgently. Warning: neural feedback instability detected. Prolonged stimulation may induce irreversible cellular mutation or breach. A pulse of nauseating warm sensation floods your forearm. The electrodes may be transmitting something back. Your skin prickles unnaturally. Beneath the suit, you feel a slow, creeping numbness spreading like ink through veins. The containment alarms blare faintly now, and the creature's form spasms violently. Any further stress risks a catastrophic event.
Alert security to prepare for possible breach containment.
Your voice catches in the comm as you bark out urgent warnings to the security team. Containment breach risk imminent. Prepare to engage emergency protocols. Stand by for potential override of magnetic locks. The faint thudding of distant footsteps echoes down the corridor, punctuated by the hiss of airlock doors sealing behind the arriving squad. Through the viewport, SCP redacted undulates crazily, its crystalline spines fracturing, sending microscopic shards drifting inside the chamber's atmosphere. Your forearm itches violently now, an almost electric sting creeping beneath your skin. A dark pulse seems to ripple through your veins with each breath, and your fingers twitch spasmodically. The AI's synthetic voice returns cold and stark. Biological feedback is escalating. Hazmat protocols advised. Exposure to entities' spatial neurotoxins confirmed. Behind you, the steel door vibrates under an unseen pressure. The breach is no longer a threat. It's imminent.
Attempt to seal yourself inside an emergency subchamber to avoid contamination.
You slam your palm against the emergency lock panel beside your workstation, fingers trembling as you activate the subchamber's seal. The heavy steel door slides shut with a pneumatic groan, hissing as the airtight barrier engages. Outside, the ambient hum of containment systems drops, replaced by the oppressive silence of isolation. Inside the cramped claustrophobic space, the air feels stale and recycled, but you're shielded, at least for now, from the invisible threat sneaking through your skin. Your pulse races as you monitor the main chamber through armored viewport glass clouded with condensation. SCP thrashes wildly, crystalline shards splintering off into the chamber's fog, each fragment dripping with an acidic sheen. The neurotoxin-laden mist forms shifting halos around its writhing limbs. Suddenly, your body convulses sharply. A cold wave of exhaustion crashes through you. Spots dance before your eyes and a disturbing itch blooms beneath the surface of your skin. Something is already crawling under your flesh, a creeping invasion taking hold. The AI alerts. Warning: neurotoxin absorption confirmed. Physiological response escalating. Recommend immediate quarantine and medical intervention. Outside, the muffled screams of security personnel and the metallic impact of emergency reinforcements clash. SCP tests its containment with ferocity.
Use a built-in emergency medical injector to manage neurotoxin symptoms.
Your hand shakes as you grasp the medical injector, a silver cylinder embedded with a pulsating red indicator. Prizing open your sleeve, you press the injector against your forearm and fire. A cold, viscous liquid floods your veins with searing intensity, burning through contaminated tissue like acid wrapped in ice. Almost immediately, the biting itch beneath your skin dulls, replaced by a numbing pressure that seeps deep into your bones. You feel your heart rate slow, but an oppressive weight settles in your chest, heavy and unyielding. On the chamber monitors, SCP hurls itself against the reinforced containment walls, fracturing small sections but held back by magnetic locks and emergency supports now grinding under pressure. Despite the temporary respite in your symptoms, a dark shadow lingers. The injector's compound is experimental, its long-term effects untested against SCP neurotoxins. You can't shake the feeling that something foreign has started to root within your very cells. The AI's voice returns eerie and sterile. Stabilization achieved. Warning: injected compound interacting unpredictably with neurotoxin presence. Subsequent mutations possible. A distant metallic bang echoes. The containment glass shows a faint hairline fracture.
Attempt to reinforce the containment glass manually before it gives way.
You squeeze past the cramped confines of the subchamber, your limbs weak but determined. The pain beneath your skin feels like a swarm of microscopic needles, yet adrenaline pushes you forward. Each step toward SCP containment glass is a crawl through invisible fire. Reaching the fractured plexiglass, you find emergency support braces stored in a wall-mounted cabinet. They're cold metal bars with hydraulic presses, designed for rapid deployment in cases like this. You wrench one free, the hiss of your strained breathing the only sound besides the faint rasp of the creature's movements on the other side. With trembling arms, you steel yourself and position the brace across the deepest crack. The metal whines as the hydraulic press tightens. Shards of fractured glass creak and threaten to dislodge, but the pressure holds, for now. SCP spasms intensify, sending a coronavirus-laced wave of corrosive mist that fogs the viewport, blending sharp crystal fragments with the entity's roiling flesh. Your vision dims briefly as a new wave of weakness crashes through you. The AI flashes a chilling notice. Containment glass at 87% structural integrity. Additional support required to prevent breach. Your body trembles uncontrollably. The mutagenic neurotoxin stirs beneath your skin like a parasite.
Radio security team for immediate lockdown reinforcement at chamber entrances.
You fumble for the radio console. Fingers slick with sweat and trembling as your body protests the smallest movement. The distorted voice of the security team crackles in confirmation. Copy that. Reinforcements en route. Lockdown protocols at all entrances initiated. Manpower arriving in T-2 minutes. Outside, the distant pounding steps grow louder. A handful of armored personnel forming a human barricade between the encroaching chaos and the rest of the facility. You catch a glimpse of their tension through the fogged viewport, guns ready, eyes scanning for any sign of breach. Behind the glass, SCP thrashes with renewed fury. Its flesh ripples and branches out in sharp crystalline thickets, hunting for any weak point to exploit. The crack you reinforced now pulsates ominously, spiderwebbing with each violent impact. Your chest tightens, not just from the toxin's grip but the suffocating dread that containment may fail any second. The AI interrupts with clinical detachment. Warning: structural integrity below 80%. Immediate evacuation advised. Biological contamination levels critical. Your vision blurs as the neurotoxin agglomerates beneath your skin, a malignant hive stirring to corrupt your form.
Begin retreat to medical bay while guiding reinforcements over comms.
Your legs feel like lead as you wrestle with the creeping paralysis beneath your skin. Clutching the comm link, you bark orders to the arriving security team through the haze clouding your mind. Hold perimeter, reinforce east and west corridors. Use cryogenic stunners only. Avoid crossfire near blast doors. Your voice cracks, but it's enough to coordinate their cautious advance. The footsteps behind you meld into the frantic symphony of sirens and alarms as you stagger toward the medical bay. Each step twisting unpleasantly like your body is no longer fully your own. Behind you, the chamber erupts with a violent thunder. Containment glass shattering. Crystalline shards erupting like deadly splinters into the air. The creature's howls are an otherworldly screech, soaked in psychotropic malice. Your hands tremble as you punch in the medical bay code. The door hissing open just as your vision blots out in spastic shadows. The AI warns, urgent detox required. Biological mutation detected. Time critical. Your breathing grows ragged. The scarlet veins beneath your skin pulsate like a network of burning embers, and every nerve screams with alien invasion. You collapse onto the cold medical table as hazmat medics rush in.
Order the medics to prioritize neurotoxin neutralization despite mutation risks.
Your voice is a fading rasp, but the urgency cleaves through the mounting chaos as you command the hazmat medics. Neutralize the neurotoxin first, mutation risk secondary. Hold me down if I resist. The medics work swiftly, cumbersome plastic gloves sliding syringes filled with experimental antidotes into your exposed veins. The antiseptic sting of cyan liquid washes through your arm, and a dull heat blazes beneath your skin, battling the shadowy poison infesting your bloodstream. Outside, distant explosions remind you that SCP-Pterodactyl's rampage continues unchecked. Your muscles twitch involuntarily, but slowly, the agonizing itch dulls, replaced by a numbing cold. The edges of your vision sharpen slightly. However, as the antidote battles the neurotoxin, your DNA structure groans under the strain, mutations seethe at the cellular level. The AI chimes in again, fretful but factual. Therapeutic intervention stabilizing neurotoxin spread. Molecular integrity compromised. Cellular mutations visible. Recommend continuous monitoring. You feel your jaw tighten involuntarily. The battle for your body has only just begun. The facility's future, and yours, hangs precariously between survival and irreversible transformation.
Attempt to prepare an emergency extraction plan in case of sudden containment breaches.
Woven between the cold sterility of the medical bay and the creeping dread pulsing beneath your skin, you seize control over the comm terminal. Your voice, though trembling, cuts sharply through the low hum of respirators and distant alarms. This is a containment critical situation, you announce. Prepare an emergency extraction route. Priority: evacuation in the event of further SCP-Pterodactyl breaches. Use secure corridors, avoid primary chambers, and maintain Level 5 hazard containment protocols. The AI acknowledges immediately, mapping a precarious route through the labyrinthine facility. Red pulsations bloom on the holoscreen, tracing paths through dimmed corridors lined with flickering lights and blood-stained walls. Your body protests with spasms, muscles knotting as alien catalysts twist beneath your skin, but your mind scrambles for tactical clarity. Outside the door, the muffled roar of destruction reminds you. SCP-Pterodactyl is already breaching containment barriers, scrambling the facility's fragile order. Each second could mean the difference between life and a horrific metamorphosis into unrecognizable, twitching flesh. Extraction in place, the AI confirms. Route vulnerable beyond Sector 12. Estimated travel time: 2 minutes post-departure. Recommend protective gear upgrade before transit. Your blood feels thick and slow. Your limbs threaten rebellion. Still, urgency commands your next move.
Attempt to access secondary armory for additional containment tools before extraction.
Your body screams in protest with every shallow breath. But the weight of uncertainty and the threat of SCP-Redacted's escape steals your resolve. You push yourself upward, wobbling unsteadily from the medical table. Sweat beads pearly drops on your forehead as you navigate the sterile hall toward the secondary armory. The corridor seems longer than ever, the flickering lights casting elongated shadows, your own distorted reflection in cracked panels resembling a fractured grotesque mask. The faint, distant groan of structural stress from the breach echoes in your ears. You reach the armory door. A heavy blast door reinforced with biometric locks and the last line of defense. Your fingers tremble as you swipe your ID and enter the override code typed into your hastily prepared extraction plan. A hiss signals the lock disengaging, and the door grinds open. Inside, racks of containment tools line the walls. Electrostatic nets designed to incapacitate anomalous entities. Reinforced cable restraints laced with sedative payloads. Compressed gas dispersers promising temporary immobilization. And atop a central rack, an experimental plasma containment cutter still warm from prior use. Suddenly, a warning blares. The armory's environment sensors detect rising neurotoxin levels. Small, invisible spores floating in the stale air. Your skin itches anew. The dark poison is closer than you thought. Seconds drag as adrenaline and growing nausea wage war inside you.
Equip electrostatic net and reinforced restraints immediately.
You haul the electrostatic net from its rack, the coarse mesh tingling faintly under your gloves. Securing the reinforced cable restraints feels like grasping fragile lifelines, each metallic clasp cold and unyielding in your bloodied fingers. Despite the nausea pulling at your muscles, you wrap the net carefully over your shoulder, loading the restraints into your vest pockets. The armory's stale air seems thicker now, each breath a challenge as those unseen neurotoxin spores cling stubbornly to your filter mask. You snatch one last glance at the door console, the countdown of compromised sector ventilation creeping upwards. Your body protests outright, muscles twitching sporadically, but your resolve hardens. There may be no cure for what's beneath your skin, but if SCP-Redacted breaks loose, worse horrors will be unleashed on the facility. You race back down the corridor, each step measured but desperate. The path to extraction lies just beyond the next junction, but the distant rumble of glass shattering echoes eerily.
Search for nearby personnel to assist in restraining SCP-Redacted if breach occurs.
You pocket the restraints and net, your breath ragged but determination unwavering. The stairwell landing ahead is faintly illuminated by emergency lights flickering against peeling concrete walls. You call out softly over the comm, scanning the corridor for any sign of life amid the chaos. A figure emerges, Corporal Reyes armed but visibly shaken, his eyes bloodshot and sweat-streaked. "Doctor," he gasps, "we're still holding secondary exits, but SCP-Redacted is relentless. What's your plan?" You quickly outline the tactical use of the electrostatic net to slow the creature's nerve impulses, while the reinforced restraints can bind its limbs long enough for containment teams to apply sedatives or reinitiate lockdowns. Reyes nods grimly, gripping his rifle tighter. "I'll follow your lead, but this thing isn't natural. One wrong move and it'll tear us apart, or worse." Your chest tightens, physical deterioration clouds your focus, but you push forward with newfound clarity. Time is your enemy, and the creature is clawing closer to full escape.
Lead Reyes to a strategic choke point near the extraction corridor.
You grip the electrostatic net tightly, the coarse fibers vibrating faintly against your palm as you lead Corporal Reyes down the dim corridor toward a narrow junction, known among staff as Choke Point Echo. The walls here are reinforced with bulkhead steel, a natural bottleneck perfect for minimizing SCP-Redacted's mobility. The faint thud of your heartbeat in your ears clashes with the distant, monstrous impact sounds echoing from the breached chamber. Shadows ripple in the flickering light as your legs threaten to buckle under the sickening crawl of alien poison beneath your skin. "Hold your nerve," you whisper. Once it reaches this spot, the net goes up, then bind it quick with the restraints. Reyes nods, weapon lowered but ready, eyes darting toward every dark corner. You can almost feel the creature's hungry presence. Thick, heavy, a living nightmare pressing in right behind you. Suddenly, the corridor's far end shudders violently. A wet thudding begins, something massive slithering and striking, the metallic sound of bones or crystal colliding violently against steel. Your breath catches. SCP is nearly upon you.
Prepare to administer sedative injections through restraints if capture succeeds.
Your fingers fumble inside your vest pocket, grasping the small, cold syringes that clip onto the reinforced restraints, sedative payloads designed to immobilize even the most violent anomalies. Despite the alien poison twisting your muscles and warping your vision, you force yourself to steady the injection mechanisms and test their locks. Reyes tenses beside you, his grip tightening on his rifle as the corridor begins to quake with the wet thud of SCP-Redacted's approach. The scent of ozone and acidic mist floods the air, sharp and choking. "You'll get one shot," you murmur. "If we bind it here, I inject fast. Keep it down until backup arrives." A grotesque shadow looms around the corner. A shifting mass of sinew, glass shards, and twitching tendrils lashing out with twitchy desperation like a nightmare-made flesh. The creature's eyeless diameter fixes on you, pulsing with unholy hunger. Your heart hammering, your body close to collapse, you grip the restraints tighter, ready to act.
Signal Reyes to deploy the net now and prepare to inject immediately.
"Now!" You hiss into the calm. Reyes doesn't hesitate. With practiced precision, he tosses the electrostatic net forward, the mesh billowing out like a dark netted storm. The device crackles with low buzzing energy as it snaps tightly around SCP-Redacted's twisted limbs and flailing tendrils. The creature howls, a soundless, wet distortion that reverberates through the steel corridor walls, its crystalline spines thrumming with erratic pulses. The net's discharge sends violent spasms rippling through its grotesque form, slowing the horrific movement to a sluggish thrash. Your hands shake violently as you press the reinforced restraints onto its pulsating limbs, feeling your skin crawl under the neurotoxin's relentless assault. With a sharp inhalation, you prepare the syringes, cold metal biting into your palm, as the creature's twitching nears paralysis. "Inject," you murmur to yourself, your breath ragged. A hiss escapes as the fine needles embed, delivering the sedative deep into mutated muscle and agonized sinew. For a heartbeat, the creature quivers violently, then unnervingly grows eerily still. The violent spasms arrest, replaced by an unnatural, agonized silence. Your body trembles uncontrollably as the neurotoxin mutates you further. A battle raging beneath your skin, but this moment holds. SCP-Redacted is subdued. The facility's alarms blare shrill urgency, emergency teams close in. You slouch against the cold wall, every breath a struggle but alive for now.
Succumb momentarily to symptoms, risking collapse but gaining brief mental clarity.
Darkness flares at the edges of your vision, the neurotoxin's malignant symphony overwhelming your body's faltering defenses. You stagger, swaying like a brittle reed caught in an unforgiving storm. Your breath comes shallow, sharp waves of nausea crashing relentlessly as the twisted mutagen claws at your nerves. You allow yourself to fall, collapsing against the cold steel wall. Your heartbeat slows, but paradoxically, clarity crystallizes in the haze, a fleeting lucidity born of surrender. Memories and formulas, procedural steps, and warnings flood your mind in sharp, disjointed flashes. You piece together critical insights: how the sedative disrupted the creature's unique neuromuscular pathways, the unpredictable interaction with its crystalline biostructure, the subtle shifts in its chemical secretions that might be exploited. You can feel your skin crawling as the alien sickness writhes beneath, a parasite rewriting flesh and bone. But in this brief void, strategic clarity ignites. Outside, the distant clatter of boots grows louder, emergency teams closing in to reinforce containment and extraction. Your eyes flutter open, breath steadying.
Transmit the mental clarity insights to research teams for rapid analysis.
Drawing on the razor-thin edge of consciousness granted by your momentary surrender, you force yourself to reach the calm terminal. Your fingers tremble, wavering between paralysis and desperate purpose, but you manage to initiate a rapid data transfer. Lines of observation flood the channel, the sedative's precise neuroinhibitory effects on SCP-Redacted's unique crystalline neural lattice, unanticipated shifts in its biological secretions hinting at possible secondary vulnerabilities, Recommendations for continued use of combined containment nets with enhanced electrostatic frequency modulation. Your voice crackles over the distance frequencies, insistent despite the rasps and tremors. Research teams, urgent, reassess sedation protocols, and prep adaptive countermeasures, detailing sedative crystal enzyme interaction, potential weaknesses identified. A lull answers your transmission, then the sterile AI voice. Acknowledged. Upload received. Analysis in process. Containment teams redirecting per new intel. Estimated support arrival. 90 seconds. Though your limbs quiver and thick shadows creep at the edge of your vision, there is a tangible shift. A fragile hope budding in the face of inescapable mutation and mounting chaos.
Succumb to symptoms. I did my best. Now it's time to rest forever.
Your knees buckle, and the sterile floor rises like a relentless tide to swallow you whole. The alien poison festering beneath your skin surges with brutal finality, twisting nerve and sinew into grotesque parodies of life. Shadows ripple in your failing vision as your lungs convulse, clutching for breath that never comes. The cold of the medical bay becomes an unforgiving void where pain and consciousness unravel into a whisper. You did your best, fought against impossible odds with a fierce, fleeting tenacity, but the creeping horror within claims its due. The last thing you feel is the cold grip of paralysis sliding into every fiber of your body. The title of survivor escapes you as the nightmare claims you. The world goes silent. Game over. Game over. You've been listening to Unwritten on Snuggly.Cloud. Thank you for joining the story. Until next time, may your path be calm, and your choices be yours.